You're listening to the Indie Echo Podcast, a showcase of independent music and the artists that make it. I'm Jordan, producer at High Five Music. Charity Stow is a singer-songwriter from Nottingham, England. Her folky Americana sound can be heard throughout her new EP, Perfect Thought.
Because of you.
Charity, welcome to Indie Echo.
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
TikTok machine over there.
Yeah, that's how I like to be introduced.
Yes. And I assume that was a conscious effort that you started, a few months ago? You started taking it daily?
Yeah, definitely. I think most artists, everyone kind of tried to not do it for so long, and then we all realized that actually it has been a really good place to get new people to hear my music. Like it's very different to other social media channels like, Facebook and Instagram. You kind of have the same group of people, whereas on TikTok I had 1,000 completely new people, and that kind of injects a very new and engaged audience into your music, which is really good. So yeah, I'm Charity Stow. I'm a singer-songwriter and I'm based in Nottingham at the moment, but I'm originally from Stamford in Lincolnshire, little historic town, kind of a little bit country, but very quaint. But yeah, I kind of listen to probably a lot of Americana and blues. That's what my dad played a lot of when we were little, and what he played at gigs and stuff, and yeah, obviously with that my mum was very into kind of Joni Mitchell, Shania Twain, but yeah, it's been quite an odd mix of stuff really. I think the classics have been kind of Carole King, Bob Dylan, but now it's really is everything and everything, and I'm just spending my time trying to reach my vines out to as much of the musical spectrum as I can, because there's so much that I don't even know exists or that people do, and it's a shame. I want to know and appreciate all of this amazing music. It's just so hard to, you have to work hard at it. So yeah, a little bit of everything, and I think that's good for my music. It's nice to have a really big range of influences to draw from.
And were you writing young?
No, I didn't start writing till I was 17, 18. I had always sung and I'd done lots of open mics and stuff like that, but I'd never written, and I kind of decided that if I wasn't writing by now, maybe it just wasn't for me. And then I started writing, realised actually it was quite fun, and it's a lot more satisfying to sing your own songs. Even though I love doing covers, it is a really nice feeling to sing your own songs, and eventually, slowly have people recognise some songs, and it means a lot. And so yeah, I haven't been writing for very long really. I'm still learning a lot.
And going back through your catalog here, so 2018 was that your first release, Stowaway?
Yeah. Those are two covers. They were kind of getting into the music and getting into the studio, but still not songwriting at that point.
So was Here an original?
Yeah, that was the first song that I ever wrote. I'm glad it turned out. we changed it a lot and did lots of things to it to kind of make it a bit more palatable, because I think my demoing skills were pretty dire at that stage. But yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I managed to write a song and it turned out all right. So yeah, that was my first little baby.
I couldn't find it here. I couldn't find it there. I couldn't find it here.
And that is the one that kind of, when going through all your songs, it kind of stands out the most, because it's the more electronic beats a little bit, and more poppy than a lot of your other stuff, which is more live band sounding.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think that's a lot of me just trying lots of different things and trying to find out my sound. I didn't really know what I wanted my music to sound like at that stage. And we just wrote a song that we all thought sounded good. We didn't have a genre or, a direction in mind. And I think it's quite nice to do that sometimes, just to be completely within one song and not think about anything else. But like you say, it does stick out a little bit. But yeah, I'm glad that we tried it, and I think it's probably a lot more poppy than the stuff that I would do now. But I'm really proud of it. The production on it is incredible, and that was my first insight into how all of that works.
And so you've kind of settled into this Americana country sound. And it was funny because when I lived in the UK, I didn't realize that you have country music. It's just a little less yee-haw.
Yeah.
So you have the crying guitars, the steel guitars and stuff. So that all carries over. Just the subject matter is a little different. Less trucks.
Yeah, a little bit less like out in the Wild West.
Yes. And so was that just something you found a groove in when you started making music? That kind of genre?
It's always been something that when I would sing covers, I fit really well into country songs. And I think my voice and my style of singing fits it really nicely. And I always find that doing covers is a really good way to discover what kind of songs you should be singing, and what kind of music you should be making. But yeah, it's not, country music. I love country music, but I don't actually listen to a whole lot of it. And I wouldn't say there is specific influences from it, but there definitely is that kind of tone. And I think that's just how I sing. And I've got kind of a lot of country, alt folk, that kind of stuff. But it's really interesting because they're all the things that I actually don't listen a lot to, but it just happens to come out in my music, which I find really interesting. But I'm glad I like to have all these different genres and personalities coming out with the music.
Yeah. And so was Perfect Thought, your new EP, was that did you set out to write an EP together, or you just have a couple songs laying around, you're like, you know what, this could kind of form into something?
Yeah, it was definitely the latter. I had about 3 songs I'd written quite close together, 2 of them during lockdown. And when we had finished a couple of them, and I thought actually it does work really well together, and there's a lot of through lines that I didn't know were there, that I kind of realized when you put them together, you're like, oh, okay, I understand what this all means now, and I can see what headspace I was in at that time, and I can see the meaning behind it, even when you don't know what it's about when you're writing it. It kind of comes a little bit afterwards for me. So yeah, there were a few songs that just happened to fit really nicely together. So yeah, I haven't actually written for a specific kind of like an EP or an album yet. But I'm looking forward to doing that because it's a very different experience, and I think it will be a good challenge.
So you start the EP off with Perfect Thought, the title track, and it has did you record it like live with a band? Because that's how it sounds.
Oh, good. That's how I want it to sound.
Okay,
but sadly, no. It was kind of like in the depths of Christmas lockdown. Okay. So a lot of it was done remotely and at home here. We did a few bits in the studio. Like the guy who plays drums on it, Mikey Chancho, we didn't even meet him before he played drums on the track because we couldn't. He just went into the studio, played them, and we were like on this like little link so we could hear what he was doing, which is weird, but I'm glad it kind of ended up sounding like a live band. That's how I wanted it to sound.
Oh, what a perfect thought. Oh, what a perfect thought. Oh, what a perfect thought.
your vocal is very warm and upfront and not a lot of effects. And was that a you decision, or is that a producer decision?
I think it's something that I find with a lot of my songs, that when I do the main melody and the main vocal, I listen and I'm like, I don't really hear anything else going kind of on top of it. I think it sounds its best when it is kind of, like you said, at the forefront, supported by the music with this melody floating over the top of it. And I think that's how my voice sounds the best. So yeah, I don't do a huge amount with it. And maybe I should try, do some tests and have a play around with it, because I think that would be fun. But definitely for this EP, the more natural kind of intimate sound, I think, fitted it best.
Definitely. And then you go into Timothy, which is the most pleasant sounding diss track you've ever heard.
A really polite diss track.
Yeah. So how did that one come about?
Yeah, that was a very beginning of lockdown track when lots of people in hospitality and those live events and live music didn't know what the hell was happening, and no one really had any safety net, and it was really, really stressful. So that was kind of came out of that situation where I was just annoyed and frustrated, and it was a big roller coaster of emotions. So I decided to just laugh at it a little bit to get through it, and I wrote it as like a joke song, just for fun, and then it turned out to work quite well as a natural track, which is funny because I never intended on releasing it. It just happened.
Oh, Timothy, you know you really screwed me. Oh, Timothy, take a long, hard look at me.
Then you go into You, which is more serious, bringing it back home. And it's really stripped back, so it probably sounds similar to exactly how you wrote it, just in your bedroom, I imagine.
Yeah, it was kind of, I knew it was gonna just be acoustic picked guitar and some atmospherics from the beginning, but it did take quite a lot of time to get those atmospherics right, because there's so much that sounded good. I didn't want to overpower it with other stuff, and it's really hard to do that when it does sound good. So yeah, we me and my boyfriend had been playing it live for quite a while, and he always used to play it on the lap steel, and that always kind of was it. It was guitar, lap steel, and voice was the main core of it, and then all the other bits kind of got added on towards the end of the production. But yeah, I think that one really needed to be as close and intimate as you can get. Well, I say that, and then the next track is even more close and intimate. But yeah, it's kind of reflects what the song is really about and gives you an idea of the focus of it, I guess.
And a cool thing about that is the atmospherics at the end lead right into your closing track, Across the Universe, where you collaborated with a McCartney and Lennon for that one.
Yeah, they're just two guys who live in Nottingham, and
you found them at a bar one day.
Yeah, exactly. They said, I've got some lyrics. Do you want to make a song with us? Oh yeah, sure.
Now, what made you want to end with the cover?
So that was one that we recorded literally ages and ages ago, before we even thought about the EP. We just knew that we wanted to record it, and we were like, we had half an hour left at the studio, so it's just a one take, kind of a bit of a spur of the moment one, which I think is why I love the sound of it so much, because it is quite natural. But yeah, we had someone suggested us to do that cover for ages, and then we finally did it, and we were doing it at a couple of gigs, and we've it took us a long time to hone down the atmosphere of it, trying to do it to a click, trying to do it with a band, trying to do it with loads of different stuff, but in the end, piano and vocal fitted it best, and it gives you the chance to really focus on the lyrics. But yeah, I think it just is a song that rounded off really well, and it just happened to be a cover, and I'm happy with it. I'm glad John and Paul let me let me use it.
Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes. They call me on and on across the universe.
Yeah, it's just a vocal and electronic piano, and it's tempting. I know firsthand that it's tempting when you have such a bare bones track to, it's like, really, is this it? Do I need to add more and more and more?
Yeah.
And you have to like hold yourself back. So was that difficult to do?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we tried, because it's impossible not to try, because you never know what it's going to sound like. But we did have a couple of options. We had like a really quite poppy, like digital version, and it was just like, it sounded good, but it just didn't quite fit. And all the options all sounded good, but they just didn't have the feeling that this one had. And I think because it was so free and flowing, and no tempo, and we were just playing at how we felt, that's what makes it such a special track, I think. So yeah, I'm glad it is how it is. I think a one take track is something quite special, hopefully.
And the You Across the Universe transition, was that just something you thought sounded cool? Because that's it's something that some artists have done on their albums, but it's really rare. But I love it when they do just transition seamlessly. Yeah,
that's my favorite. Like, Beatles and Pink Floyd albums, when they do that, that's what if I was going to write an album, I'd want every single track to do that, because I think I love it when it's a piece of music and not individual songs. And yeah, that's kind of, I just also to pay homage a little bit to the Beatles. They always have that kind of interlude section, and
it was their suggestion. They told you.
Oh yeah. They were in the studio that day. So yeah, I think it sounded really lovely, and I really wanted something to calm it down and then go into it, because I think if you stop and start between those two tracks, it didn't quite flow as well. Because Across the Universe is so quiet and intimate. I think it needed that little transition to get people ready for it and get people in the right state of mind to listen to it.
What would you say was the hardest song to put together?
Definitely Perfect Thought. I think we spent a lot of time producing that, and a lot of time being very nearly done. We'd say, oh yeah, we're nearly done. We're like so close for like 6 months. And because we weren't in the studio and we were doing mixes, he'd do a mix, send it to us, listen, do tweaks, and send it back and forth. It took a long time. So yeah, I think that one was not helped by not being in the studio. That it would have been really good to finish that one in the studio, but we got there in the end. It did take a long time because it is quite busy, and I wanted it to be busy, but it's really hard to get the right balance between too busy and not busy enough. But yeah, the mixing and mastering of it definitely, took it to another level where it sat completely fine and it wasn't overwhelming all of a sudden. So yeah, I think that one was the hardest, but I think that one is my favorite. I'm proudest of it because I think we spent so much time in it, perfecting it and making it just right.
Yeah, it came out great, definitely.
Thank you.
So have you done much, I mean, not for this EP of course, but a lot of live performances or busking, anything like that?
Yeah, I've been doing quite a lot. In the last couple of months, I've been just a musician. That's been my job for the last couple of months. So I've been properly going for it and getting as much stuff as I could. And it has been really lovely. It's been good to kind of try out all the different things. Like I've done some busking, I've done some like parties and weddings, I've done, pub gigs. as well as kind of ticketed stuff. So it's been really good experience, and I have enjoyed it. It's hard work, and I think I'm quite ready to maybe wind down a little bit now after this EP is out.
It's promo time.
I know.
Yeah.
Always promo time.
And did you, going into this EP, TikTok was a part of it, but did you have some kind of formal promo plan?
Well, one that I made myself, if that counts as formal. I think we made a lot of content for it, and have a lot of promotional content for it, because I wanted to make it really cohesive. And I really like it when people's promo strategies make sense, and all of the videos and the photos that they're using kind of link together. So we did a lot of that. We did a lot of that with film and kind of slightly lo-fi stuff. But yeah, I think we've kind of pushed this release quite a lot more than we have the other ones, just because I've had time to do it and I've had time to spend on it. So yeah, I've had a bit of a schedule that I've been working on at the moment. It's mad how busy it gets. Like I'm like a week behind on my schedule because I've had like extra things to put out, and yeah, but it is good. It's nice to be busy with it.
You're still towards the beginning of your career, but are there any career highlights so far? Maybe you got to play at a certain venue, or someone noticed your song?
Yeah, well, mine's a bit weird, but the first day that I moved to Nottingham, there was this festival called Nottingham Green Festival, and it's basically this like eco-vegan festival in Nottingham, and I had loads of live music. And when we arrived, I was like, I should get a slot here next year. And then obviously next year was COVID and it didn't happen, but this year I managed to play, and it was a really nice full circle kind of thing where it's not a big thing, it's just nice to think, I decided I wanted to do that and I did it, and it was lovely. Nice. I'm supporting an act called Joel Black in Nottingham at Percy Picklebackers. It's now called. It used to be called Billy Bootleggers, but it's now called Percy Picklebackers. In Nottingham in Lace Market.
It sounds
October.
Sounds delightfully British. But
yeah, it is. It's lovely. It's kind of like, it's a really cool like kind of dive bar place. But yeah, it's on the Friday night on the 29th of October, supporting him. I think Miles Knight is also supporting, who's a very well-known act in Nottingham. So it's very nice to be on the same stage with them and feel like I've kind of got a part of the scene now.
I meant to mention this before, but we're kind of turning the tables on you because you have your Spread the Love show of your own. Is that going to continue?
Yeah. I think I'll probably pick it back up. I'm not sure when. But yeah, I've done a couple of series of it, and yeah, it has been so lovely just to meet new people, and it was really a lifeline over lockdown, especially just something to work towards and actually speak to some new people. And musicians will talk about music till the sun goes down. So it has been really lovely. But yeah, I think I will start it up again. I'm not sure when. When I feel like I've had a good break, then I probably will come back and meet some more people, because there's so many amazing people out there to meet.
Mm-hmm. You kind of touched on finding your sound initially, then you kind of settled into this Americana country vibe. But what are some other genres or styles you might want to explore in the future? I think I would want to explore a bit more of the alternative side, and I think Wake Up was a little bit of that. Just something I really like, just doing something a bit different and kind of surprising people. And I think Perfect Thought has been me finding my safe sound, if you know what I mean, like something that I will always go back to and I will always enjoy making. And I think people seem to enjoy, so I will always continue making that kind of music. But it's nice to kind of stretch out of that a little bit, and definitely I'll probably do a little bit more pop as well. I've got some collaborations coming up, so hopefully there'll be some slightly different Chartiston music out there soon.
So I scream and I shout and I laugh. I'll do anything for a second chance.
of message or something that you want people to take away from your EP?
Yeah, I had a really lovely review today, and I thought it kind of encapsulated everything that I hadn't thought about for a while about my music. And it was just, he said, when I finish listening to Charity's music, I always feel a little bit better about the world. And I was like, that's what I want. That's literally, I just want you to listen to my music and have a smile on your face and tap your toe and think, that was nice. I had a nice, relaxing 20 minutes and didn't think about anything else. And I think that's what music is for a lot of people, escape. And I want to be able to give people that, and hopefully they can enjoy it as much as I enjoy it.
Cool. What would be a dream collaboration of yours?
Ooh, God, where do I even start? I think Dodie, that would be really cool. I have tried to cover a couple of her songs, and I just listen to the production. I'm like, I just have no idea what's going on here. There's so much intricate stuff. And I'd love to learn how she lays it up and how they make it sound like that, because it's really beautiful stuff. So yeah, Dodie definitely. Maybe Orla Gartland as well. That would be a little bit more rocky. Billy Martin as well is another favourite of mine. He does quite alternative, quite laid back stuff. I take a lot of influence from her, so that would be really cool as well.
So what's next for you? Do you have any plans in the horizon, or are you just in promo mode right now?
I'm a little bit in promo mode now, but for me, I've got, like I said, I've got quite a few, 4 or 5 collaboration projects, and I'd really love to focus my efforts on getting them done and out. And I think I want to maybe focus on some music I make completely with other people, not just my own songs when I go to the studio. And I think that would be a different experience for me, and I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice to just throw myself into music that I wouldn't normally make with people that I like. So I think it will be fun. Yeah, that's the plan.
Links to Charity's music and everything else can be found in the show notes. Indie Echo is a product of High Five Music, a digital production studio that brings your bedroom demos to life. If you want your music produced, mixed, or remixed, visit the link on my Instagram at High Five Music, and you can follow the show at Indie Echo Podcast. Thank you for listening.